Hi folks, my name is Ilias and I'm back for another list of the best games that I've played all year. Emil the Smiling Man is a brand new game in the series and it's a far bigger experience than either game before it. You still play similarly, however, and it does involve a lot of reading with some rudimentary puzzle solving, and like a good book, you will not be able to put it down until you reach its satisfying conclusion at around 12 hours later. Star Wars Outlaws is one of the first open-world Star Wars games, and it mostly delivers. It takes place between the events of The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. Aside from some unfortunate bugs at launch that have since been squashed, the game does a great job of allowing you to explore a universe governed by the Empire. You won't find any Jedi here. You play as Kay Vess, a scoundrel seeking freedom and the mean to start a new life, and her super cute pal Nix. The story plays out to a very satisfying conclusion, and if you're a fan of Star Wars, this is definitely a must-play game. Sonic X Shadow Generations is actually two games in one. On one hand, you have a remake of the excellent Sonic Generations game that came out in 2011, and on the other hand, you have a brand new game that focuses just on Shadow the Hedgehog. The core game, Sonic Generations, is a total blast. Each level has 2 acts and takes inspiration from, and sometimes is a straight-up remake of, some of the best early generation Sonic games. One of the acts plays out in a traditional 2D way, and the other act plays out in 3D. Shadow Generations takes the concept and expands upon it by introducing a playable hub world that requires you to unlock new skills for Shadow to progress. It looks very nice as I played on the PS5 and it locked in at around 60 frames per second. This combo of games is a great celebration of all things that made Sonic so iconic, as well as introducing some great new gameplay elements in the Shadow portion of the game. Super Mario Jamboree is the definitive Mario Party, not only on the Switch, but on any system that has come before. The new levels are excellent, with an extra special shout out to the amazing Rainbow Galleria. This is far and away the best level I've ever played. It includes the largest roster of playable characters and some of the best new minigames in recent years. Also new to this edition is a pro mode that lessens the randomness immensely, and it requires an unexpected amount of strategy that's usually not found in a Mario Party game. For example, the bonus star information is provided at the beginning of the game, giving you the entire game to work towards the requirements. Pro mode has created many hyper-intense games that brought us down to the very last round. Oh my god, Chris, get out of here, Chris! Get out of here! It's mine, Chris! It's mine! No! No! Ow! Nintendo World Championships NES Edition is an overall fantastic time. Born out of the real-life World Championships that came out in the late 80s and early 90s, the game is all about speed. Broken up in 200 micro games across 16 different games, you're tasked with getting the fastest time possible. Some of our favorite Twitch moments this year have included our attempts to achieve the fastest time that we possibly could in weekly tournaments hosted by Nintendo.
Swim, 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 swim.
Some of the challenges range from easy, get the mushroom in Mario 1-1, to legendary, beat the entire game. The game is an incredible introduction to the world of speedrunning, making you aware of how every single button press matters as you try to shave down your time by tenths of a second.
Oh
That's it.
my god!
That's it. Helldivers 2 follows the original top-down game by introducing a brand new viewpoint. 4 players dive down into various planets to help exterminate giant bugs and massive robots. It is such a blast to play with your other friends and try to survive waves after waves of attacks. The more you raise the difficulty, the more that chaos ensues. One of my favorite moments was putting together all of the pieces and launching a nuke that blasts off into the distance, and it truly felt epic.
Pick a pin, southeast.
Whoa! Whoa! Quattro is a perfect introduction to the world of roguelites. You're tasked with making the best set of cards using the rules of poker. Sounds simple enough. But then you realize the further you get into the game, the more points you need to score with your sets of cards to be able to advance. There are 8 total rounds, with each round consisting of a small blind, a big blind, and a boss blind. You likely won't beat it on the first try, but it won't matter. Once you fail, you'll want to start right back up and try again. What a rush it was to watch Chris beat the final boss blind in the 8th round after about 30 hours of gameplay. All right, here we go. These are my top 3 games of the year. Coming in at number 3, Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. It is still unbelievable to me that this game even exists. It has never been released outside of the GameCube, and every single year for what feels like decades, folks have been asking Nintendo to release it. The wait was absolutely worth it. This is not just a simple remaster. This is a full-fledged remake. The graphics perfectly capture the charm found throughout the entire story. It's a lengthy journey broken up in many different chapters, with each chapter including a new partner to acquire. The gameplay includes timed button presses that originated in Mario RPG, and there are a ton of quality of life features that make this version the definitive way to play. If you missed this game on the GameCube and have been waiting to play it, this is the way.
This is the way.
Coming in at number 2, The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom. Nintendo shocked the world when they announced The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom, and not because it was a brand new Zelda game that came out only about a year after Tears of the Kingdom came out, but because this was the first time that you'd get to play the whole game as Zelda. Wait, didn't you always play as Zelda? Playing as Zelda also meant playing with entire new, but not unfamiliar, gameplay. Now you rarely interact with enemies directly. You instead acquire various inanimate objects and enemies as echoes that you can freely summon to do your bidding. By the end of the game, you'll have amassed about a staggering 100+ echoes that you can use to solve puzzles and fight enemies in a variety of different ways. Your imagination is really your only limit here. The graphics are an evolution of the remake of Link's Awakening and are perfectly suited for this game. With a massive world map, super clever and creative gameplay, and the return of dungeons, I can't wait to see how Nintendo will follow up this incredible game. And coming in at number 1 is Astrobot. When the PSVR launched, Team Asobi released Astrobot Rescue Mission to overwhelming acclaim. It perfectly utilized VR technology to create a stellar platforming game requiring you to collect a bunch of bots per level. When the PS5 launched, they packed in a game called Astrobot Playroom, which fully utilized the brand new DualSense controller to have you feel every single detail in the short game that acted more like a tech demo. Now in 2024, Team Asobi has released Astrobot for the PS5 in celebration of Sony's 30th anniversary, and it's quite literally a perfect platforming game. It has varied levels spread across 6 different worlds with incredibly imaginative gameplay. Your goal is to collect 300 bots that are mostly all themed from prior Sony franchises. This game is basically one big celebration of Sony. Unlike other platformers, you cannot take any damage in Astrobot, otherwise you start over from the nearest checkpoint. Some of the later levels that you play, if you're looking to 100% it, are some of the most challenging yet rewarding platforming levels I have ever played. This game stands up there against the likes of some of the best Mario moments. That's how good it is. Paired with the incredible graphics, the still immersive DualSense controller, and the stellar level design, Astrobot is a perfect game beginning to end. What a way to celebrate 30 years of Sony. And that's it, folks. This was Elias's top games of the year, 2024. We'll see you next year.